Liberia.
The Department of New Media and Rebranding of the Liberia Broadcasting System presents Nightline Liberia. From the valleys of Liberia to the top of Wologisi Mountain, Nimba, Grand Kipma, River G, to the coast of Sino, Bassa, Bong, Riverses, Maryland, Margibi, Grand Cru, Bapolu, Grand Jide, and Monserrado. We present to you Nightline Liberia, a prime. The Department of New Media and Rebranding of the Liberia Broadcasting System presents Nightline Liberia. From the valleys of Liberia to the top of Wologisi Mountain, Nimba, Grand Kipma, River G, to the coast of Sino, Bassa, Bong, Riverses, Maryland, Margibi, Grand Cru, Bapolu, Grand Jide, and Monserrado. We present to you Nightline Liberia, a prime 8 p.m. with 60 minutes around the country, bringing you updates from LBS correspondents. Nightline Liberia's final segment kicks off with its panelists and pundits from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. as they propound on trending national issues. Nightline Liberia asks not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
When we work together, there's nothing we cannot overcome as a people. This is why I asked all of you representatives of our people to join me to do the business of the Liberian people by not doing business as usual. I challenge.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, and good evening to another edition of the Nightline Liberia program. It promises to be a night of intellectual power play with some of Liberia's brightest and best in this business on Liberia on ELBC 99.9 and other frequencies across the country. A primetime talk show loaded with facts, not fiction. Please invite a friend and let's share as well. So, okay, today we're back. We're happy to be back here again to sit around our country's fire heart, they say. I know someone like Vandalag would know what you call fire heart. I know Dr. Tony would know that as well. I know that also. So let's say we're here again to talk today. Big topic in town. We'll be looking at a statement made by the former president, George Weah. A lot of people have been discussing around town today. I tried to listen to it, but honestly, I didn't listen to it in full. But I know I have panelists here. Let me welcome Dr. Lester Tenney. Welcome to Nightland Liberia, sir.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you.
Vandela, you've been this for a very long time. We yeah, across here, across there. But it's good to have you. Welcome.
Thank you. I think tonight, let me first appreciate you,
Thank
Anthony
you.
Falabon, the sweet voice from
Thank you.
Radio Veritas.
Right.
It's a pleasure to meet you,
Mhm.
and I'm very, very happy. Impressed. This sweet voice I always, hear me on the radio, and I think ERBC is bringing, I don't know whether it's becoming Madrid or what, but it's good to be here.
But let's be honest. I admire you a whole lot as well, and so we're going to put that aside and move on to why we're here today. And so they are our guests tonight. We'll be looking into these issues, especially the statement today by the former president. We also have our panelists online. As we go over now to Fabien, who will. Okay, so Fabian is not really on track right there, but yeah, our panelists are on the line. We will be eventually identifying them because of the kind of glasses I wear. I wouldn't see them from this point. That's why we're asking for some support. But again, while we're trying to formally welcome you, trying to get your names. We hope that you were there, you were listening. I understand the show has already taken the country by storm, especially when you have the kind of top-notch guests and panelists that we have looking at the issues, who know the issues for that matter. We like to, as quickly as possible, invite our panelists who are online so that we're all doing this together, and thankfully I'm receiving all of the support from my colleagues on the team, the night train for tonight. So we have Samson To online, we have Koto Jala, and we have Si Goya. Okay, I understand Koto will be joining. Okay, so we kick off. But to know Dr. Tenny and Vendala, maybe that goes first. Today we listened to the speech delivered by the former Liberian president, and it has been making the rounds around town. Uh, I'm sure you must have heard about it or read it or or listened to it. So we so these two people, our panelists, Sizik Goya and Kotu Jala, will join us a little later. Yeah, but let's listening to the context, listening to the layout of the speech, listening to the environment that we have. What did you make of it?
Anthony, am I audible? Hello.
Well, in all earnest, I believe it was a panic speech, driven by deep-seated, deep-rooted fear. I believe former President Weah uh, 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 is aware and alerted on the dragnet falling on him and his officials. It is just a matter of time. Those who romanticize the national coffers, those who gang rape this economy, those who pillage our natural resources for their personal aggrandizement. Uh, a new dawn is here. A new sheriff has been given the mantle of authority to lead this nation to where it's supposed to be. The oldest African country, yet one of the fourth poorest in the world. A country endowed with all of the largesse of the great divine God. Yet We cannot boast of anything tangible apart from massive corruption, excessive looting of the national coffers. So a new day has come, a new day that will catapult this nation into a new dispensation, into a new age. That for once, public service will be deemed as contributing talent towards nation building and not amassing wealth at the expense of the impoverished people. So yes, we will look at give a full anatomy
Yeah,
of what people call a
right.
speech that was never delivered during the hegemony of we are. Now he is mounting podium to deliver speech.
Okay. So that before we go further and come to Vandalite, it would be a good thing just in case some people did not listen to the speech, they did not read the speech. It would be a good thing to sort of try to bring it back so that those who heard it before can hear it again, and those who did not hear it will have an opportunity to do so. So it says, this is ex-President Weah's full speech. My fellow Liberians, on Monday, July 29, 2024, the Unity Party administration ordered heavily armed security personnel to carry out a series of unlawful detentions of some former officials of government in what is clearly a political move intended to target the Coalition for Democratic Change CDC and the wider opposition community. Those detained include four former members of the National Security Council. The action was taken void of any indictment by a grand jury. This is the latest transgression of the Bwaka administration in their callous attempt to undermine the rule of law and security of the state. Some of the open and deliberate acts being carried out by the Unity Party administration include: one, the harassment and removal of all civil servants from the system based purely along party lines; two, the excessive use of force against citizens results in several deaths; three, the non prosecution of election related deaths that occurred on camera; the total disregard for the tenure laws of the country, even in the face of the Liberian Supreme Court's ruling; five, the broad day violation of the procurement laws of the country; six, the disgrace and denial of benefits of duly commissioned foreign service officials. Even as late as yesterday, the president again showed to the nation that he is not a man who respects the rule of law when he sought to illegally remove the governor of the Central Bank of Liberia in clear violation of the act creating said institution. The Unity Party can be assured that the CDC will use all legal and political means at its disposal to resist this move to weaponize the country's judicial system to its selfish advantage. Yes, Mr. Bokai, your actions to politicize justice will be resisted and resisted strongly. The Unity Party government, in the execution of their evil plans, choose to ignore legal and constitutional reliance, available evidence, and pursue reckless measures. The Unity Party must be reminded that these antics have only brought about disorder and confusion in Liberia's recent history. The national security laws of the country plainly stipulate the measures that must be taken to safeguard public order. In a post conflict nation such as ours, it's become an even more challenging task. Intelligence gathering and operations the world over have always been a prime concern and preeminence, requiring authorities to exert extra efforts and resources to preserve peace and security. The CDC led administration remains proud of its record. We we preserve the peace, security, and welfare of the country, even during the raging COVID-19 pandemic and at times when the security of the state was at stake. I am also deeply proud of my record as president, particularly my unwavering respect for the rule of law and my relentlessness fight against corruption. You may recall that during my presidency, we advanced the fight against corruption on many fronts, including granting the Liberian Anti-Corruption Commission direct prosecutorial powers, which is critical to the fight against corruption. To sustain and further advance this fight, we should not allow anyone to erode gains we have made. To utilize its new powers to fight corruption effectively, the LACC must treat all audit reports from the General Auditing Commission or GAC without cherry picking of my administration undermines the fight against corruption, and the Liberian people must see such a move as weaponization of the LACC, the witch hunt officials of my administration. Like me, my fellow compatriots, I love our country and have always put our country's interests above and beyond my personal interests. I have championed peace and stability from my advocating for a ceasefire during the Civil War to leading disarmament efforts to bring peace, serving as a peace ambassador, and most recently, my conceding the election even before the pronouncement of the final results. You can attest to my selfless and unwavering commitment to the peace, stability, and the betterment of a poor country. Sadly, it seems that the Walker administration is interpreting our commitment to the peace and stability of our country as a weakness and therefore keen on disturbing the peace by weaponizing key government functionaries, the witch hunt officials of the past government. For the UP administration to exploit our legal system and risk something chaos or fomenting chaos, it tells you it tells you to what extent some politicians are willing to go just to maintain power. This is exactly the path that the CDC sought not to read when it maintained the stability of the country against all odds, while spearheading a peaceful transition of power to President Boakai in spite of a hard fought and close election. These political contentions have, however, shown the lack of foresight and total disregard on the part of Walker and his confidants, caring less about the consequences of their actions in faces and the uncovering of government's use of public funds from the central bank to bail out a private bank which the Unity Party used to finance its election campaign. It also comes against several instances of disregard of the country's procurement laws, thereby committing the country to hundreds of millions of dollars and the daylight robbery of 22 million United States dollars under the guise of road rehabilitation, among other glaring acts of corruption. Suddenly, officials who once gained notoriety for public theft now want us to believe they have transformed into referees of good governance. The CDC will be briefing its partisans in the coming days during a series of mass meetings about the dangerous games of witch hunt by the Unity Party. I call on other members of the opposition to join us in this fight to preserve our political system. I will continue to engage with ECOWAS leaders whose countries have given, and so on and so forth. But let's. I mean, you listen to the letter, and you seem to have been far east. It's like one side is going left and one side is going right. You've heard all of this before. Come to Van Dylan. How dare you come back and say the guy doesn't mean well for the country? What do we see and begin to have that feeling that no, this is not the true story? This is something else we are hearing.
So I think former President Weah is living in a bubble. To say that the Boyka administration used $22 million from the central bank to finance its campaign is a figment of someone wild imagination. During the election, The only authority in this country was the CDC-led government under George Weah. So, so you can see the extent of the contradiction in the speech. There was no coherence. How can Boca use 22 million dollars from the central bank to finance his campaign during the election when Boca never had the authority to control the governor of the central bank? More besides, the audit that is currently in the offices of the Public Account Committee are all audit commissioned during the administration of George Weah. President Buckeye has not officially commissioned widespread audit of any functionaries of government during his administration. So where is the witch hunt? Who is witch hunting? Your auditor during your administration conducted audit during your administration, compiled a report and submitted it as by required by law to the national legislature, and Buckeye only implementing what the audit that was conducted during the administration of George Weah. So where is the witch hunt?
So that I think what we're going to do is to drive the conversation, and then we engage our panelists who will come. But let me get to you, Vandela Patrick. You listen to portion of the letter, portion of the speech that was delivered by former President Weah. I know you've heard the initial reactions of Dr. Tenney. From your spectacles, what do you read?
Thank you, Dr. Lester Tenney, and my big brother Anthony Fadabawa, and those of my fellow panelists that are online. I'm sure you're going to practice. And to the listening audience, I think I express pity for the former president. I think he has embarrassed his partisans. He allowed sympathy to exceed national interest while he was presiding as president of this country. And what I want to say to the former president, no amount of threat will stop this president from enforcing or implementing the rule of law. The only reasons why laws were written or policies were carved, they were meant to be applied against individuals and institutions. No country just exists without rule of law. We came to power on the basis of rule of law. And the president spoke for 13 minutes, 45 seconds. I followed his speech. I analyzed it step by step. Like Dr. Tenney said, it has inherent contradictions. And I'm saying this respectfully. When President Weah received the overwhelming mandate compared to this current president, 62% won 14 out of 15 counties. That was an endorsement that this president will come to power and transition our country from where it was to another stage of national development, where rule of law will be implemented. Most importantly, Weah won the election not because he built hospitals. Weah won election not because he distributed money. He rode on anti-corruption fight or platform, accusing the United Party then of state looting, Mickey Mouse and Santa Claus with taxpayers' money, while vast majority of the people were wallowing in poverty and destitution. So you winning an election 62% on anti-corruption platform. The first thing Weah needed to do, former President Weah needed to do was to receive the audit report. At that time, I stand to be corrected. 63 audit reports were already prepared and waiting. The Weah opposition political party, the CDC, accused ministers and officials under the Ellen-led government of state looting. That propaganda went across the 15 political subdivisions of the country that Ellen was corrupt. I was one of those individuals that heavily lambasted at the Ellen-led government for state looting. When we won the election, I was one of those that wrote an open letter to the president. President Weah, congratulations. The only reason why you won this election, because you convinced your citizens that the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf-led government was corrupt. There are 63 other reports. It is now time for you to look at the one that have strategic evidence. You can start with 3, 5, 6, but persecute, because laws were meant to be implemented.
Okay.
We are said in conclusion to this one that he was about to unite the country, establishing war crankle, which was one of our issues. He said it will divide the country. Implementing the other report, it will divide the country. Now that Ambassador Boaka, His Excellency President Joseph Numa Boaka, is doing exactly what we thought that we would have done. We are saying it's a wish on. I think the former president needs to keep quiet and allow the rule of law to take its course.
So let's hear their other views, especially those of our panelists who have already joined us. And I'm really happy that at least 3 of you I see are here. Thomas is here, Thomas Guo, Samson Tu, Koto Jala. You are all here. So I'd like to start with Thomas. You've been following the conversation today surrounding a letter, rather a speech delivered by former President Weah. And we have Dr. Lester Tenney as one of our guests in studio. Fandela is also here. So we start with you, Thomas. What would be your intervention at this stage?
Well, I mean, for me, it is so frustrating to hear, former President Weah coming up to write such a speech. I rather think that he did not do it at his own volition. He was put up to it. And why am I saying this? Vanilla Patrick, you see in the studio there, me and other people, including Eugene Fagon, right after the election in 2017, we advised that the CDC government should audit the then former UP government, the ex-government or the previous government. And guess what it did? The moment we started to talk about that, we asked Judge Weah, like I was one of those that said, look, President Weah, you need to put a halt to this construction of private property at this time. It's too early. You just took power. This is going to bring problem. The people will be concerned. Where are you getting money from? Vanilla Patrick buttressed me and others in that fight. I also came out and said, look, the likes of Jefferson Koji, Moba Molu, and other people that you have around that you claim to be your soldiers or foot soldiers, put them on a scholarship so these guys can go out abroad and get some learning. After your first term or something, or probably, in the middle of your first term, they can come back and work as deputy and gain some experience. Guess what? These guys started to call us spies and all of that. And in fact, in those chat rooms, they kick us out. So to come up today and say that somebody is hunting you from a report that was generated under your administration, it sounds so far-fetched. Like this guy doesn't even understand what he's talking about. Like it's very
So
obvious.
Tom, what we want to do here is to ask you now to engage with our guest. We have Dr. Tenney here, and then we also have Vandala here. So probably you have your questions for them. You have a comment about what they say. Can we do that now?
Right. One of the questions I will ask the guys in studio is part of it I've already heard from them. But before getting to that, let me just conclude on what I was saying, and then I can just ask a question. It won't be long. So then the guys rejected these opinions. They objected these. They rejected these suggestions, these pieces of advice that were very crucial and important. You can't put people in government that are not yet competent, capable. Prepare them, you know, prepare them so that the party can be a viable party. By the end of the day, you go and build a party on one person. You refuse to build your own party, the human capacity building. You fail to do it. You put people in government that are incompetent. At the end of the day, these guys screw up, and your own audit is now chasing after them, and you saying that someone is witch hunting you. My only question to you guys is that, what do you guys think of what the possibilities would be when this guy, is it possible that the former finance minister, who is not available right now, my understanding is that he's somewhere in the Ivory Coast, is there a possibility that he could even be, killed by some of the very elements of, the CDC, as was done as was done to the auditors? Because my concern is, I fear for his life. What do you guys think about the safety of the former finance minister, from his own internal cycle, given the situation and what happened to those auditors?
What is prompting you to ask such a question?
My question is coming as a result of the fact that it appears that, from my own opinion, that the audit report that we are seeing today might have been part of the reasons why the two auditors were killed. It's just an opinion. I'm not concluding that it is. And so, knowing that this guy is a centaur, is playing a pivotal role in this whole allegation that we're talking about, okay, from the GSC, is there a possibility that this guy could become a target from within? That's my concern, because then that way, interfere with the investigation. And if the possibility exists, can the government, is there a way that the government can provide special protection for this individual so that this case can go on without any harm to him until it comes to a final conclusion?
Okay. So we can take the other people online. I think like the likes of I think Mr. Tool. Are they online now?
Well, let's confirm those who are learned. Samson is online, Koto is online as well.
So before you come to them, I think I share your view. It's an issue to worry about. Nobody knows his whereabouts, and that is critical. We do not want anything to happen to the former Minister of Finance. He's only accused. In this country, once you are indicted, it means you are guilty. So let's break it down, to our people. This man has been indicted that he stole some money and has some stakes in the death of, Nyenswa. So I don't know whether Interpol, the government, will evoke that law that allows Interpol to intervene. Nobody knows his whereabouts. Who knows? Maybe he's in the US or whatever. So it's an issue to speculate. But I share your view that
in the US, he's on sanction.
I'm saying you don't know, except I don't know. You don't know. You are not security expert.
Yeah, but US,
I am not.
You are the US.
So I'm just suggesting that it's possible he might be in the US. Our eye is not the only place people can pass to go to America. People can go to Cote d'Ivoire, get in the plane. Ghana, you can ride bicycle, you go to Sierra Leone, you get in the plane, you go. It's possible you can get on ship. So many ways to go to America. But what I'm saying is it's an issue to worry about, because the indictment is up and the minister expressed fear that there will be no accountability. He fled the country. I don't know whether you're out of the country before the indictment came, but it's an issue to talk about. What I would suggest, that if he's anywhere, he should be given assurance that when he comes in this country, he will be given due process. If he flee in another country, I think it's good for the government to establish link, maybe Cote d'Ivoire, Sierra Leone, or Guinea, whatever, so that we can be in the know that he is alive, he's kicking, and that nobody is witch hunting him. Not just from the CDC side, it could be private citizen who perhaps he might have offended and they might want to go after him. Nobody knows. But I am saying that I share your view. It's possible that, things could happen. But we are not praying so. I think he should be protected under the law, and the government must do everything to ensure that justice is dispensed without biases.
Okay, Thomas, thanks a lot. Let's come over to Samson. Samson, Doug, you had a comment on the
Yeah. So when one decides to get into a conjugal relationship with the devil, one should expect that it should not end up into a dinner party. The fact that you chose to work with a man who has mafioso orientation, a man who pretends, in all fairness, to be insensitive to his surroundings, a man who pretends to be a dummy, one should expect the outcome of the consequences of those matrimonial relationships. I believe it will be in the best interest of Minister Tue to avail himself to the law so as not to escalate the problem. Remember, Ivory Coast is a Mana River Union country, so by default, there is an extradition treaty between the three countries, the four countries. Excuse me. Uh, if he does not avail himself to the law, the government can use the instrument of Interpol. On such condition, the issue of bond will not be admissible because he will be deemed as flagged risk. Under such condition, it become more extreme because he will be incarcerated to the full extent of the trial. And so I believe it is the government is giving him sufficient time. That is what called due process. The government is giving him sufficient time to see reason to avail himself. Like my brother Patrick said, an indictment is not a conviction; it is an allegation. You will have the chance to have your day in court. There will be bond set. You can secure bond through any instrument, but you must submit to the rule of law. It is
Okay.
very important.
Okay, Doug. So we go back to our panelists. We still on the topic of discussion, the message given by former President Weah today. Samson, are you there? Koto?
Yes, I'm there.
Yeah.
Am I
So
audible?
you have a slot now.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah, I think we are. But Kotu, please give me a minute here, baby. Look, Anthony, am I audible?
You are audible, sir.
Okay. Look, we can't talk about try to achieve changes from other places, and we ourselves are unable to respect the rule that we set. On this platform, we have a chat room which give us information. Those of us that are considered to be panelists give us information of what to expect. I've been sitting here for the 45 minutes. If Dr. Tene and my little brother Patrick was supposed to be the guest, I would believe you guys should have informed us to say these are the guests tonight, and then we will formulate what type of question we have for our guests. But you have not done that. And I'm not here to be a wallpaper here tonight either. If I'm not welcome on this, that's okay. I'm a Liberian. I can excuse myself. But I'm not going to be here to be sitting here for 45 minutes Why we on instantly announcing guests here tonight? It is unacceptable. It is unfair, and this is something that we have to stop. We cannot to say we're going to try to solve a problem out there when here in our own bike here, when we have issue. This is not something, it's not professional. Now, having said that.
So quickly, before you come in, Big Brother 2, let me apologize quickly.
Yeah,
we have technical issues.
You are my Patrick, you know me, I'm coming to you.
I come in, we have technical issue in studio. So maybe while you are sitting there, while they were working on it, we can't keep waiting. So we have to be talking while they are addressing the issue. So we sincerely apologize, but we have some technical issues in studio. You are right to express, but we could not communicate with you. I'm sorry, I'm not looking in the chat room while we are in studio. But there is a technical problem. You will not see it. We are in studio. We try to get you online so that the audience will listen to you on the radio and on TV and on Facebook. For us in studio, there's no problem. So because we want your view to be heard across the whole country and not just on Facebook, that's why we were talking to kill the time while you come in. I dedicate at least 7 of my meetings to you so you can enjoy yourself. Thank you.
That's okay. I'm still going to dig into you anyway. You're my little brother. You are an advocate, and you cannot advocate for us here tonight on this platform. You say you advocate, you will come, we'll deal with you. But no, on a very serious note, I'm very serious about it when we do these things, because I was here from the beginning when Dr. Tene and Patrick was introduced. And I was glassed over. That's okay. But I thought perhaps this is something perhaps the moderator is overlooking. I want to bring that up. Now, let me go on to the question of President Weah, which is the most important thing here tonight. For me, I'm disappointed, greatly disappointed in President Weah. Because President Weah, as far as I'm concerned, yes, I campaigned against him. I wanted him out. Not because of his personality, but based on policy disagreement. I've always stated that, even on my own show, that President Weah, because of the folks that are around him, as far as I'm concerned, that were unable to guide him properly, cost him the election. President Weah has an opportunity today to come out and state, as usual, I'm a peaceful man. But instead, he borrowed the word of Jefferson coaching to challenge and resist. Of course, he said politically and legally, but to come out, that word should come out of his mouth, knowing fully well our folks are now all on the same page. For you as a president, former president, who believe in peace, for you to come out and then instead of coming to tell the Liberian people that indeed we are now corrupt. And because we are now corrupt, we welcome the investigation. This audit was done under your administration. Can you imagine if President Bakai have constituted some sort of audit for himself or from his administration? Whether you got auditor from the United States, but as long as it was done under his administration. Can you imagine what people would say? But this is an audit that was done under your administration. Address the issue. I tell President Weah would have taken that opportunity to invite wherever area our brother Samuel Tway should say, come back home. Let's fight this. We are not corrupt people. Liberians decided to vote us out because of what they perceive. But let's do it to the best of our ability that we are not corrupt. But instead, he sat there this afternoon and let people spoon feed him with words that perhaps that he himself will not utter any other time. But because of sentiment, and he allowed for the folks that he's supposed to lead are now leading him. It's very embarrassing. And I hope President Weah will somehow turn around and welcome the investigation, because he too, I believe, he believes in institution building. This is how you build institution, not by accusing people of witch hunting. You have the judiciary system. Most of the people that are leading the judicial system, the judges, you, President, we are appointed those people. You mean you have no confidence in them? And if you didn't have confidence in them, why did you appoint them? One side, these people are going to be in a mix of the judicial system that will judge and bring this thing to trial. Accept it and see what they will go. You think we're all going to sit here for people to wish on people? I'm a liberal, for Christ's sake. Even though I'm not a member of CDC, but I'm not going to sit here for anybody to say something that is unbecoming of a Liberian. We will speak out. I have no favor to nobody. Nobody's paying me. In fact, I'm taking all time. It's 1 o'clock here in Sacramento. I have to take up work to do this. So it's not because we want money, but because we want to change the system. And I think President we have missed the mark this afternoon. He should have been one of those in a room to help build an institution. One last thing. President Weah is a very young person. He has the ability to come back. But if you do this, the system, the institution, if you fail to build them, you come back, you will do the same thing. Because the system that you left in place is ratty. Well, let us be fair to each other. The system, from my perspective, the system is rotten. And President Baka, he's not saying, he's a human being like any other person. But he's saying to the Liberian people, this is what we have. And according to the law, this is what's supposed to be applied. And President Baka is simply, and his administration are simply applying the law. So where is the wish hunt? And as Cesar said yesterday, even in Total, they got people that still hunt wishes, you know that. People come and put pot under the water, they come and take it out. If you are stealing, if this allegation, if they are true, and you are caught stealing from poor Liberia, then they need to wish on you. Because you are not in the interest of our people. For Christ's sake, when will we grow out of this thing? The international community feels sorry for all they get for fasting, then you put it in your pocket. What the other people will have for school. Some politician, they go and pay school fee for 10, 15 people, then the one elect, they say the winning election. What happened to the rest of the community? You able to pay school fee for all of them? You do it right so that everybody will benefit. And this is what President, as from my perspective, and I already said this, I am a strong supporter of President Baka, so my view might be skewed or whatever way you want to accuse me, that's fine. But I believe that President Baka is trying to set this thing for the future generation. Thank you very much.
Wow. I think our sister is.
Yes. Are you hearing us?
Yes, I'm hearing you guys.
Okay.
So it's time to go.
All right. Thank you very much. And I want to say hi to everyone and the people of Liberia, in Liberia and around the world, and those that are listening to us now. My own point is actually, I really do not have questions to those to our studio guests, but I have statement to make, and I don't know what I can do. Go ahead and do that.
Quickly, correction. We are all panelists. There's no studio guest here.
Oh, okay, because you were saying that there should be questions, so that's why.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, I start by saying I listened to the speech this morning, and I thought in my mind, like last night, we jokingly said it. I said he should be very careful of what he's saying. It shouldn't be like what Jabate did, and we just all laughed about it. But actually, I thought our former president claiming that he is this very peaceful man, and I thought his speech could have gone so to the peace side, enlightening his supporters and those past government officials from his government. I thought he would have said, you guys should be peaceful. Whatever question they want to give you guys, you should be ready and go to the government. What question they have, and you guys go and answer question or go to the court or whatever means, legally that it could go through. But to my surprise, I got the surprising shock of what he was saying. He talks about the hunting of Liberians, seditions. And these are all Liberians. You were in power 6 years. you had the opportunity to employ these guys that you claim. He has almost like $12 million set aside and was paying these people on subsidiary payroll, supplements payroll. Why didn't you, use that money to like give them capacity, do capacity building with these guys or whoever they are to make them, fruitful in society that they will be qualified to be employed. But no, you put them on supplementary payroll and now they are not qualified. Some of them are not qualified to even apply to get a job. And we have our brothers and sisters complaining today they took them from job, which is not right. And I think he wants to picture it, picture himself so beautiful that it is good he did for them. Not good. It's like taking somebody's money. You take my money and then give me peanuts and then give me assurance that you are doing good for me. That's what I thought he did to these Liberians today. And he claiming that the UP government have taken, Liberians from other jobs. And picturing the bad picture. I think that was wrong. And I think we want to let our Liberian brothers and sisters to know that they did wrong. And because they wanted to cover up for their stolen resources that they were collecting, they tried to just pocket them somewhere and think that they were doing good for them. And secondly, with let's say for the cases that he was saying, witch hunting. Who do you call witch hunt? And what are they hunting them? So if that's the case, I consider them what they call witch. You can only be a witch before they hunt you as a witch hunter. Okay? So you only claiming you as a witch is like they told the people, let go, let the ugly people go and draw water, then Babu get up and say, that pig, let's go. For me, that's what it looks like. Because they are collecting funds from people who stole from the Liberian people. And now you only claiming that are seditions. So you trying to tell me that seditions are raw? Okay? And that's what, for me, I'm claiming that he thinks that they stole from this government, from the Liberian people, and they are guilty of what they have done. And that's why they don't want to be exposed. Go respect the law. Exonerate yourself. I think that's what they should be doing. Then he's saying they will not obey. But I thought, I heard it right that he did not say will not resent. But he said through the law. And that's why I really wanted to pick up whether he would say they will resist arrest or resist anything. But he said they're going to resist. Maybe that here terminology, but to me, it sounds like they are going to resist anything concerning the investigation of the seditions. I would claim it that way. Okay. Then he talks about following up with the international community and ECOWAS. This is the president that disobeyed the ECOWAS result from the Cabinet Janet case and then the former First Lady case. So why then would be he going back to these people? What is he going to say? If you disrespected the ruling of ECOWAS, and then your government officials were sanctioned by the American, who are the other international community are you going to actually engage? I think it didn't make sense to me. Seriously, and if our past president should be sitting and thinking like he retrospect of the government he ran. Okay, if he ran a good government, he would not been called the government would not been called kleptocratic. He's saying all of that. There's not only Liberians that were calling it international scene. He is considered. If you have guys, he said he respected audits. That why is it that they not conduct audits? He was there as a president, and he respected audits. He will also carry on enforcing the audit, at the time. But yet, we were there when Bill Travis then was exposed of money laundering, and even the guy escaped that they carry on. He admitted that it took money, and nothing was done about Bill Travis case and other cases that were exposed. So who is he now to come and tell the Boycott government to do what he did not do and respect his view? I think it's not right. And I appealing to the president. he continued to do the right thing, and we, the Liberian people, will continue to educate our people to support him for whatever thing they are doing under this other process be successful. Because if this other process fails, it means Liberia is going back to the down drain. Nobody will respect any other government. Anybody come in government, even the people right now that will be in government, will not respect, the government in relation to our phones and things. So I think they should just continue on the right thing. I'll stop there for now.
Okay, she stepped for now. Back to our studio. Vandela.
So another thing that we are raised is the fact that he's calling for an inclusive implementation of audit reports. And for me, I think he struck a good point in that. The fact here is His Excellency Joseph Inyuma Boaka was the VP under the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration. And when that regime was defeated by WIA in 2017, it was expected that everything we are criticized. Remember now, there were 63 audit reports that the UP-led government had already prepared. There were audits done, and they were already waiting, hoping that WIA would have implemented that. But WIA did not. So he came to power, reappointed some of them into government. So he too, under his administration, audit reports were done or conducted. And it was expected that WIA would have implemented that audit report while he was still president. He did not. New government came into play and happens to be Vice President Joseph Inyuma Boaka, now President of the Republic of Liberia. So WIA is now saying it should be inclusive, where it's a matter of choice. He had a boy in his court. He needed to do what the people were telling him. So again, I agree with him, it should be inclusive, but he should have done the right thing from the beginning so that the other reports from Ellen time to his administration, there are many. So the president has decided, you know what? We criticize the WIA-led administration, I'm assuming without admitting, and it was on this basis that people felt that, okay, WIA was corrupt, we should not give him the country. So he needs to prove a point that these were things we criticize WIA for. We are about to take these people to court. Let them provide the evidence. So this issue about witch hunting, look, let me speak first to people who supported WIA. Seditions, WIAians, seditious. This matter, if you truly believe in the democratic will of the people, you should be honest to yourself to say what Mr. WIA is saying now. It's not unique to what others were saying. When he became president, many of you across Radio Land, everybody expected WIA to have implemented the other reports he made on his debt. Not only that, when the US government sanctioned 3 of his officials in the executive, he proceeded to suspend them with immediate effect. That suggests that WIA concord with the United States decision to have sanctioned his officials, and he needed to fast track them to court so that the court can decide as to whether what the United States government said about his former officials were right or not. He did not. When you suspend somebody, you gave a reason. I think the only reason we have suspended these people because there were allegations of corruption that came as a result of sanction If there were no reason, we would not have gone ahead, to have suspended them. Another thing I want to stress onto, I think I've been arrested before with heavy armed police. Look at a young man like me, I can't even resist to the police officer. Let us not, present a situation that 5 individuals are capable of terrorizing this country, especially when they are indicted. We should use the sheriff of the court. Maybe just few police officers. When there are resistance or threats, potential threats, that these people, their supporters, are coming to prevent them from being incarcerated, you can call for back off. But this overzealous behaviors, like somebody going to court, one that person was a political figure, armed police officer, you inflame the situation. You make it to be, look, let's treat these people like common criminals, accused criminals. Send the sheriffs, bring them to court. Especially when somebody go to arrest you or issue a raid where you do not put up resistance. Look, let's stop this. And I want to call on the police director. It's not everywhere you carry armed police officers, except where there are potential threats. But these people should just use the sheriff to effect the law, to effect, the raid. Take them to the court, even when they are going to Monrovia Center Prison. You got plainclothes security people around here. When the police come around, they can blow things out. They NSA, undercover cop. Let them be around and observing and see what happens. Let these people, because my point is, it has the propensity of allowing, opposition bloc, like the CDC, to say, oh, you listen to what, the former president said. Surrounded with armed police in the international community, it speaks volumes that there was an intent maybe to harm, there was an intent to do XYZ. Look, somebody should go at the house, you got your intelligence, like in the US, they have FBI. Before FBI move to you, maybe they have been observing you, they will be deployed like 2-3 hours, just waiting. If you decide to put on resistance, then there where they will come in. Let's employ such a method when somebody is to be arrested, to be taken to court, especially a high-profile individual. Let us not inflame the situation with armed police and something like that. Police, especially everywhere you go, you see armed police somewhere, they attract people. So let's treat these people like they committed a crime like ordinary citizens, and they should face the full weight of the law. You understand?
Yeah.
Let us not dignify their conviction or allegations. Because the more you see police, you dignify, you give them that kind of, political leverage. Some of them, even one police officer can walk to them and say, you are under arrest, they will listen. So I think that was the only issue about, being, liberal. And I agree with Dr. Tenney when he said that we have had the opportunity to proceed. The other day I wanted to argue with him, but I'm still reminded. He said he was an insider. He was an insider. And I'm hearing that the NPP issued a statement, saying that the rule of law should take its course. But what I want to say this today to all Liberians, specifically seditions or reactions. Rule of law should not be, don't make people make you believe that these people, they are being witch hunted. No. Every government comes to power if they feel that there is an audit report that indicted certain individuals, they have a choice either to implement the audit report or leave it. George Weah had a choice to implement the audit report that indicted former officials of the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration, but for him, he said it would divide the country, we should proceed. I disagree. When somebody steals from us and they say that person stole money, they should take them to court. Because when the poor man steals, I saw somebody in Raleigh, they put fire on there, he stole a biscuit pack. They burn them alive. And somebody is accused of stealing 5 million, 2 million, and they arrest them, they take them to court. You call that waste fund. I think what we should say here is that let allow the rule of law to take its course, and that we should not start crying waste hunting. He had an opportunity to do exactly what JMB is doing. For some of us who are just we are implement the audit report, 63 audit reports. When you took over, you were not the one that audited them. It was from the previous government. So nobody will take you to be like you are waste hunting them because you are using the document from Ellie. He said it would divide the country.
Okay.
He allowed that to pass. This one, JMB is saying, you know what? We will implement. It even sending a fear in the current administration that when you see tomorrow, maybe 2029, anything happen, and maybe different president come to power, they will do exactly what JMB is doing. So it's good for our democracy.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. We want to take a short break and see who all we have online following our show tonight, and we will have been to just look at the screen and tell us who are there tonight.
So Frederick Roberts is watching from Newcretown. Honorable Cry is also watching. Lawson Zile is online watching. We have Siliki Torare who says good evening. And Solomon D from Grand Bassa is saying LBS is off tonight in Grand Bassa. Technicians, you have to listen. Samuel Francis is watching from Dupont Row. Anthony Fire says hi. And Martin Tikwa Meno says, why CDC didn't prosecute UP during her 6 years reigns? We have Benjamin Selly asking people to speak up. Prince Kamara, he's also watching. And George Freeland now says he's watching from Seoul Community. Batum Kula. Journalist Benjamin Labla says he's following from Zozo Lufa County. And there are another person still asking Solomon D about LBS being cut off in Grand Bassa County. Sisi Goya says, good evening, folks. Arthur Kone is also watching along with us. Solomon D again. Amos Antonio Sengwe says he's watching from the Capital Bypass. Win-win is on Arthur Kone. Michelle Roberts, Clay Riches, Francis Page. Clay Riches is again Rachel Hammer, and so forth and so on. Sheikh says he's watching from Sheikh Abdullah bin Ahmad says he's watching from Canada and following. Henry Passaway, good evening, folks. Alfonso Aku says he's watching from Washington, D.C. Jerry Yasia as well. Anita Augusta, also from Atlanta, Georgia. Otako Philip Lipoli Moba says he's following from Banga, Palm County. And Reche Banguse is watching and following from 24th Street. Kama Kamara is watching from GSA. Patrick 12 from Maryland County. And Anita Augustus again. Augustine Flomo Gatefloor from Delaware, USA, and so forth and so on. The list continues tonight.
Sure. And then let me say thank you. We probably couldn't call your name given the time that is available to us, but we are happy that you are there. You never tell when we will stumble over your name and call you out to as one of those following. So we come back to our discussions, several other things. That speech had a lot held in it. I've heard Vandela talk a lot about it. I heard Doctor talk about it. I heard the other panelists talk about it. So before we take our calls, is there anyone who wants to add anything to this discussion at this point? Just before we take our calls.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
Yes,
if
I want
I
to.
have the
Yes, I want to
opportunity,
say
I would
something.
definitely love to
Yeah.
come
So
in.
let's do it systematically. Doc will start from here. Then from there we go to the rest of you online. But let's start with Doc first.
So, like I said earlier, the speech, the comments of George Weah was basically an exhibition of panic mode. Uh, I believe it is just a matter of time. And one conspicuous characteristic of the Weah administration is the lack of privacy, the lack of secrecy. Those boys were exhibiting mansions, you know, showcasing their loot. So the audit only tends to validate what they were showing to the public. For example, on Facebook, the assistant minister of state, Potter, was dedicating a 4-story building after 3 years. And then he bought his wife a brand new car and was watching the car with Moet champagne. An assistant minister, not the minister proper, an assistant minister. You have in this country where the minister proper were distributing millions of Liberian dollars to different occasions, openly. My girl, when he went to Banga, he gave 30 million Liberian dollars. 30 million Liberian dollars. And he was just distributing money all over the place. Fina Bondo, who was just the chief of or chief of protocol, I think. Grace Transport, 64 vehicles, fleets of vehicles. So what they are claiming to be wish hunt was in fact what they themselves paraded to the public, that this is what I've accrued from the national looting. More besides, more besides, even before the pronouncement of these reports, the United States government did provide information of national looting. They refer to the WIA government as a kleptocracy, government of thieves, for which 4 of their officials were sanctioned, and WIA had to recuse them, which is in fact a validation or a consent in the absence of a judicial process. He recused them from their position. Why didn't he raise the alarm that the United States was witch hunting his official?
Very critical question, Dak. So I'm going to jump in and run to Koto Jala, our hero in the background. She had a contribution to make. We will take some calls, but let's do the rounds with the rest of you, and then we take the calls. Yeah, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Please go on.
I listened to Vandela say that this guy should be arrested with some moderate minor and with arm, which I agree. But I want Vandela to understand that this is conventional corruption that they are alleged of. It is not like any saver case. It is a nation's money in question that we are talking about. So you will see that the Liberians will want to see the rule of law, be implemented. If we don't do that, I mean, there will be some uh, repetition of these acts. So I'm sorry for now. I will just go quick about work and just emergency. Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Um,
I think Samson Toys.
yeah. Something? Are you
Yes,
there?
thank you.
Yeah.
I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Very clear.
My brother Patrick, you look real good here with 4 policemen around you. No, 5. They're all over the place. And you're looking at them like, are you serious? You guys got them many police people around just for criminal libel against a president, not a country? So I just thought that I put them. Anybody can Google it and you will see that. Look, on a note, Patrick stated, as a liberal, I do agree with him wholeheartedly. The police themselves. That's one of the things that I really like about Patrick Suru. because I remember there was some sort of, I believe it was the June 7 demonstration, and they had the police that was supposed to go at the site. But he was at the ground that day, and one of the police guy has his side weapon. He said, "Where you going?" He said, "Well, I'm going to." He said, "But the people are going to demonstrate, and you're carrying gun for what?" After that statement, that question was very in place. And I think if you do these kinds of stuff, if people who their character, they are not of a violent nature, I think the simple CID going to arrest them will do more. Then when you go in with all gun drums and things that people see those things, then whenever they people come in and speculate or even make some comments, oh, the police are doing this, and they see the picture, it says a lot. So I think we should also help each other by trying to temper these things down. But as far as the entire process is concerned, I think the president and this administration are on the right track. And I also believe that the president, this type of thing that is happening, the international community are also watching. Investors are watching. And there are some investors that will want to come to the country, don't want to do any bribery or anything like that. So when they see these type of things, okay, this government is serious. And this government is somebody that I think we want to do business with. So whatever the President Baka is doing, I believe it's in the interest of all of us. Sedition, believe me, President Baka, I don't know, he doesn't even know me, but I believe in him, and I believe he's not going to be the one to be able to just violate people's rights. He will stay within the confines of the law. The chief justice you heard the other time complaining about money, you think she will sit there for executive to abuse people's rights in Liberia? I don't think so. So I think Liberia is moving forward, but let's give ourselves an opportunity to prove to ourselves that yes, indeed, we are capable of governing, fine governing process. This is a wonderful thing and a wonderful day in Liberia. As long as those who are involved stay within the confines of the law. Whatever you do, apply the law to the best. You will make mistake, but the mistake must be something that perhaps you can defend in the court of law. If this corruption case slip away from us because people who are supposed to prosecute are unable to prepare themselves for it, we're doomed. We're doomed. That is my prediction. Thank you very much, but I hope we'll be successful. Thank you.
Okay. Let me just announce the good news is that Basel is back on. I'm just getting information. Somebody said the radio station was down, but it's now on. Thomas, do you have a comment to make before we go to the calls?
I think he's out.
Okay, good. All right. So we're going to go to the calls now. Just pick up your phone and give us a call. The number to call 0772 876481. 0772 876481 or 0880 514 096. 0880 514 096. So you can call and make your contribution. You listen to the panelists in studio, and I can see that Fandela is like he's in the mood. He has something to say. Fandela, is up to you again until we pick our call.
Oh yes, right after the call, then we can chip in. I just wanted to pass a message to Fabienne. Maybe there are others, want to ask questions online. They may not call. Or maybe we need to have a line for OSC. Maybe they can call on WhatsApp, or maybe they can ask their questions online. Then maybe we can respond from there. So people online can participate. They may not be directly in the country.
Okay, so
a lot of them are making comments in relation to ex-President George Weah's speech today. And if I'm permitted, can I read just
until we pick the calls? Let's pick some of the. You wanted to say something?
No. Okay, that's it. We just hope that the line is okay.
Yeah, the line is okay. As soon as they come on, we'll give them space to come through.
Okay.
Arthur J. Conan says the former president's speech is a scary tactics or covert approach to undermine the accountability process. Mr. Weah and its cronies need to sit back and learn that Liberia is not a farm. They must restitute the Liberian people's money and serve the jail terms. These massive corruptions have hampered and destroyed our state, which has set a systemic backward. Gonle Duma writes and says, I must commend President Joseph Boyka for the beginning, and I urge every Liberian to accept and embrace those that are fighting corruption. Our problems are ourselves, Liberians. So far, so
Okay.
good. Yeah.
All right. So you can call us on those numbers 0772 876481, 0772 876481, or 0880 514 0880 514 So if you're there, you got those numbers, this call, you'll be calling directly on Nightline Liberia. Is there a call on the line? Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Are you there?
Hello?
Yes, sir. Hello, how are you? Welcome to Nightline Liberia.
Sir, first, I'm very Marina calling from Pune Academy. How are you doing, sir?
Go ahead, go ahead.
In the first place, criminality can go diplomacy. When you are led as a criminal, other basic code, police have the first of carrying you to the court, but only they now immediate you. Because you have a basic code. So then the people have that basic code because of the administration, the basic code that everything you were doing, that's the counted for. So the administration was very bad. There's when they come out and say they were going far. The administration lacked leadership qualities. So that is really forward and we embrace it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Criminality has no diplomacy.
You get me?
Yes, I've heard you. Thank you. Let's get the next caller.
Good evening.
Yes. Good evening. Please tell me your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, this is Jerry Taylor. I'm calling from Ghana.
Yes. So let's hear you.
Yeah. Brother, for me, I'm very happy of what's going on. Now, why we voted for Chief Parker, and we know that person Parker will do the best thing. And that's what we wanted. These people are making us to suffer in this country. They loot our country money, and they are seeing that. And I want to tell one of Mandela Patrick, these people you see that when they go into a red and Mercury Sherry, these guys, some of them, you get there and you listen to the former president. They said they will resist anything. So we let the people carry police with them. The sheriff, you see, they ain't get nothing. So you can say that they just go from over there. They didn't put their head in, and you know, as we speak now, some of these guys will be there to do a lot of things. And you know, and they got criminal and they get Zoko, they operate with, so they can do anything to the sheriff. People don't get nothing. So for my advice, when the people are going to arrest them, let the care police officer with them. These guys should be prosecuted.
Okay. They should be prosecuted. Okay. So we have another call on the line. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Please tell me your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, my name is Emmanuel Ganayi Joanne. I call from Buchanan City.
Okay, let's hear you.
I want to say thank you to you people in studio, and I want to appreciate the government for what they're doing for the Liberian people. You know, when the Liberian people, when you come to them and doing your campaign and promise them certain things, and when you start to do it, you made it happen. Today, it's also disgraceful from the former president, sir. I don't know whether he monitoring the social media or he monitoring radio station from all over the country. Because today, when you sit in some of the committee, you hear some of the citizens who really love this country will say the president, not just how to call for a press conference today. I don't know whether you have particular people forcing him to speak, but the way he spoke, it not even resemble the ambassador we have before called peace ambassador in this country. Because during the inaugural speech, he said, any minister that would play with the people country money, your day will be in court. Now, Joseph Jima Bwaka government, the President Bwaka government now trying to make sure to check their former leaders that misuse our country money and support millions of people in this country in 6 years. And now your former president come here to defend. That meaning you really damage the country in 6 years and more to come. And we don't want for the president for President Baka to just talk to the minister, but they want to make sure to only President Baka himself, or President we are himself, because maybe one beginning to be afraid and you have bigger thing behind him and he want to protect. So we want to make sure to order him too.
Okay. Thank you. Let's go to the next caller. Hello, caller.
Good evening.
Good evening. Please tell me your name and where you're calling from.
All right. My name is Josiah Small for me from the Quantum Peace Island, commonly called 540.
Let's hear you.
Let me say thank you to Vanjana and the professor and the doctor and all of you on site. No, let me say this. Today, some of us, we felt disappointed in the voice of our former president. The former president at 2018 during the inaugural speech that all my government here is going to end corruption. Money in my people's pockets. That the government, that the former president speaking against, fight against corruption. We thought the former president who have been telling us today. We welcome this audit. We welcome the fight against corruption because people say my government stole, so we are willing to go to court to exempt ourselves when we are unknown guilty, so that we can make a comeback 2029 to tell the Nigerian people the law has set us free. We are free of what they say about us. But instead of him doing that, can't talk about they will resist politically. They will resist doing the law. In fact, Ambassador Boga breaking law. President, we are so talking about breaking law for President. We are when he appointed John Pater on Article 54. Well, I call for mention when totally they got to deny him, come and go bring the Senate. He the one talking about bringing rule law. No, with the recitation that no.
Okay. Thanks. We got another caller.
Yeah, good evening. The name is Wade Yapa, and I do join you from my Johnsonville resident this evening.
Let's hear you, sir.
Yeah, let me first commend you guys for the wonderful show this evening. May God bless all of you in studio. Yeah, the former president's statement, I see as an embarrassing statement that have embarrassed the Liberian people a lot. Look, my brother, nobody is against audit. Nobody is against any position being removed by the current leadership of this country. But what we against is the process in which these guys are doing it. Just imagine, brother, I'm from Grand Bassa County. Go at the current port, the second largest port in the Republic of Liberia. Go at the port. The new appointment that was made by the president, the former senator, who is now serving as the port manager, Geneto Lama Kapi. See how the situation that just occurred, that it was all around, beating on the water because he felt that the ball supported the power regime. They jumped on him, they beat him, even the presidency and delegation came there, and up to now, we have only heard that yes, indeed, the boss should take trumpet. Today, they are against Liberians because they feel that Liberians were part of other regime, and that is a bad thing. Look, President, we have served this country, and we all are there admiring and being the peace ambassador for Liberia.
Yes,
and
kindly conclude. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Let's take at least 30 seconds. Hello, caller.
Yes,
Please tell me your name and where you're calling from.
yes, Ali Masele calling from Roseville.
Go ahead.
No, I can't do all it is. 1847 up to today. They don't know what they call all the things. So I told you all the things like me, like they will hunting people. They do just feel like in your country you must see the country money and go free. The end of the day, the common man must suffer because they didn't know that they going there. The common man are maybe to be in power today. Tomorrow you must suppress them. When can say, oh, we want it because they love from one individual.
Okay.
Now country is to go.
Okay.
We all get a country. We say to.
Okay. Hello.
Good evening.
Yes. Please tell me your name and where you're calling from.
Okay. This is Adam Andrews. I call you from Grand Bassa Highway.
Let's hear you, Adam.
Irish Town, BI.
Let's hear you.
Okay. I actually want to inform former President Weir
that this is Liberia, and he was born and grew up in this country. This is the country by law. And the only way our country will move forward, from the day President Tobo died, our problem begin honor President Tobo during the 1979 Red Riot up to today. The only time this country will move forward, leaders must pay for their wrong. Leaders must be prosecuted for corruption.
Okay.
Leaders must be able to get accountability
Thank you.
of every public office he or she serves in.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Let's hear the next caller.
Hello,
Hello. Please tell me your name and where you're calling from.
this is Augustine calling from the Johnsonville. I'm just on the motorbike going, but your what is on air, it really attracted me, and I stopped the motorbike to just react quickly to
Yes,
that
please do.
positivity.
Stop the motorbike and talk before continuing your
Yeah,
journey.
yeah, yeah. So to just conclude, I'm just really what the president is doing for me. I'm seeing the president is moving positively towards the progress of the Liberian people. I really recommend him for him to continue to do that because the country is underdeveloped. Our economy is not really improving as we were expecting it after the war. And all those that contributed towards this underdeveloped economy that we are experiencing should be held accountable.
Okay.
And that no one should consider it to be wish hunting.
Okay.
It's not wish hunting.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next caller. Yes, please tell me your name and where you're calling from.
This is Paul D. Anthony.
Go ahead.
It's Paul D. Anthony.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can we hear you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take the next caller. Once you are through, just go ahead and talk. Hello? Hello? Hello, are you there? Oh, hello. You have to lower the volume of your receiver. Okay, let's go to the next caller. Hello, caller.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, please tell me your name and where you're calling from.
Okay, my name is Daniel D. Collins Jr., and I join you from Paintsville, District Number 3, North Dorado County.
Go ahead, Daniel.
So quickly, let me say a very big thank you to the panelists this evening. But to the point, I want to be very much bold to say this to the Liberian people that it is time now that people must account for what they did. And I don't want the former president of this country will be passing around with supporters or subscribers that are forcing him to say, quote unquote, what he's not supposed to say. Now, I think the audit report by the GNC by indicting the former or the previous officials, it's a privilege for them to boost their morale because the indictment is not a conviction. It is a mere, I don't want to say mere, but it is an allegation. So failure for any of them to attempt, but not or to boycott, not to appear in court, the rule of law will prevail because this is the time that culture of impunity, that old system, that old way of doing things, we must get rid of it. And as such, the current, the former finance minister, he must make himself available so that he will vindicate himself on the corrupt attitude that our country was been involved into for the past 8 years.
Okay.
So thanks ever so much for the time that you provided for me. We are much on the line to.
Thank you. The final one. Hello, caller.
How you doing?
Yes, please tell me your name and where you're calling from.
I'm Adu Ejera. I'm calling from Kingsville.
Okay.
I very appreciate the step that the government is taking because within a short period of time, this guy got into power and qualified people. They stole our taxpayer money and bought property for themselves. So if they go to court and feel found guilty, let them send it to the Hague for 25 years. Government should seize their property.
Okay. Thank you. Send them to the Hague for 25 years. Government should seize their property. So we're back here. You've heard the Liberian people speak. What is your reaction as the panelist? Yes, let's start with you, Dan.
So this is in sharp contrast to what former President Weah said, that he will rally the support of the masses. There is no more masses. The masses are the pitiful victims of reckless rule in this country. I mean, there is no more masses. What he has are co-looters, those who vandalize the state resources and their appendages, the cronies, those who enjoy the largesse of the national loot.
Bagu?
So he has no political strength to incite any masses. Those days are over. You cannot fool seditions again. No, those days have passed. Like Vandala already said, you had the opportunity to implement all the reports. You cannot be the one dictating to the current dispensation as to how they should govern. You have no authority to do such. You have no authority to do such. More besides, common criminals should not be elevated, as my brother Patrick said. These people are common criminals. They should be treated as ordinary people, and you should not have their existence
Oh, yeah.
by carrying
Armed
huge
police.
security. For I mean, I mean, you can elevate their status. They looted the state.
Mhm.
They will be prosecuted. In the eyes of the public, they are guilty because the people want uh, this initiative by the government of Boca. The people themselves appreciate the fact that for once in the history of this country, there is a leadership that is governing. For once, thank you.
Thank you. We probably will come back to Vandela as the guy in the room, or go online and see whether we still have Thomas or Samson or Kotu. Any of you still around?
Yeah.
Yeah. After those
I'm
those
waiting for this
calls,
opportunity.
we know you will have a reflection.
Mhm. All right. So I want to just thank the brothers in studio there, but I want to direct this to the Liberian people. You know, Liberians, we have an issue that I usually refer to as, being very short memory. Somebody does something to us, after a couple of months, we forget it. Let's remember, let's not forget, when the CDC government came into power, the chairman, the then chairman of the political party, called Morba Moru, said, "This is our time." And that statement was even buttressed by Joy Howard Taylor, who was the then vice president. She made the same statement. This is our time for what?
To eat.
But then sooner or later, Mama Mother was crying that George Weah and other cronies were just enriching themselves, bidding properties for themselves. The tape was all around here. You guys heard it. We all heard it. We all know what Moroba's mother said in that tape. That George Weah and his cronies were enriching themselves. They were bidding properties for themselves. They had, offshore accounts and all of that. It was in that leak audio with Costa. You see? Then we have McGay on tape, on video, in McGibby telling voters that, at least for him, other people stole the money and took it out of the country, but for him, he using his own money in the country. It's right in the country. So what kind of evidence do we need? These people already made it clear to us that the government was rotten. All right. And now the audit reports are proving it. What else do we need to be convinced that there was massive corruption in the government? There was massive corruption in CDC government. There is no doubt about it. So for we have to even come up and say such a thing, I think he's doing disservice to himself and the Liberian people. What I expected we had to have done or to be doing is to acknowledge some of the shortcomings of his government and begin to put forward suggestions as to how we can move forward with the country, how we can change things around here, but not to come and start condemning things. These are institutions that he himself even he put in place. I would say, for example, the LSCC. All right. His appointment, I think his appointee is still there. A lot of the people he appointed were still there. And these are people that conducted the audit. All right. So, and that is a government, an institution of integrity. So when you start to question the integrity of institutions that you once worked with, rather than, emphasizing more on like, let's get the audit report to be fair. Let's make sure that it's all fair enough and transparent. Then it means that you yourself don't even trust your own institution that you put in place, or at least an institution that that we inherited, that this government inherited from you. So I think that there is no place for what he said, and that we should focus, we should move forward. The country needs to move forward. We've been stranded for too long. The people suffer for too long. All right. Our hospitals, our schools are all in deplorable conditions around here simply because of massive corruption. All right. And this is not just, from the CDC government. It started from way, back then. But someone has to stand up. Someone has to put an end to this. It can continue to be, to continue forever. We can continue to live in a country of impunity. People need to bear responsibility for the wrong they do in society. That's the only way we can move this country forward. If we don't, we are doomed. Because since the 1960s, right, we were on par with countries like Japan. We all had the same economy. At this time, where are we? Japan and America, they are rubbing shoulders. They call each other allies. But look at Liberia today. We cannot even call Guinea ally because Guinea is far ahead of us. This is shameful, man. We need to put this, sycophancy away and be serious and pragmatic about, doing the work of the Liberian people, or seeing this country go through in a very prosperous manner, rather than all this sycophantic and, deceitful rhetoric. Seriously, I will stop there.
Thank you very much, Tom. Samson, are you there?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Thank you. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Very much.
Say something, but when I listened to Thomas, then my sadness started taking over. Thomas is a young man, and he's educated, and just like my own brother Patrick over, and these people mingle with other African intellectuals as young as they are, and these kinds of stuff are happening in their home, and when they go out there to be the face of Liberia, how do they present themselves? They can even get dry fish and like dry fish, but it's difficult. And these people are going through pain. If you listen to Thomas right now, but that's something we ourselves continue to pray for, and hopefully people will listen. What I think should happen, President Weah should have taken, once again, I would say, should have taken this opportunity. President Weah, I something to have been accusing him of stealing and blah blah blah, all kinds of stuff, running my mouth all day. President Weah have the opportunity. This, he should embrace President Wakai process of auditing and trying to go, okay, bring it on. Let's go to court, and I will vindicate myself because I have done nothing. I played football for too many years. I got money before coming in here. And because I didn't declare my access right away, I started building people thinking, this is the time for him to show. It's very sad. It's very sad. This president, I will call him young man because I'm older than him. President Weah, when we were destroying our country, he was coming in to help. When President Weah leave France or any other place to come to Liberia during the war, people will stop killing each other. Now you have given the opportunity to lead us, and you can't make any use of this. When will you do that? Because people you align yourself with have no interest whatsoever for the Republic of Liberia except for themselves. And I think once this opportunity is missing from President Weah, because when he's saying, now look at the color we have this on this line, but majority of the color are saying that this is a good thing for the government to happen. And President Weah to come out and make reference to we will resist, knowing fully well our history of resistance, what it led us to. For you to use that word, I feel uncomfortable, to be honest with you. And then there's another caller here that said, They should go and not worry about sharing, as you were addressing Patrick, not worry about sharing, because the people don't know, but the president said they will resist. People are using your word to tell you that this is not the right thing to do. So I will end on that, but I will say, President, it's not late yet. Embrace this situation. President Baka is not one of those that will go around and people start getting missing at night. President Baka is there to give you your day in the court. Please accept it and ask your brother to come back home and face whatever it is. Please. Then one last thing, and I'm not trying to bother up Patrick here, but I said yesterday, people like Patrick, and I'm not trying to compare Patrick to the criminal act that is being alleged, but the general point that I'm trying to make, Patrick is an activist, and he talked for people, he talked for the country, but at the same time, he was ready to say, wherever my action will take me, if it means to go to South Beach, I'm ready to go. Where is Samuel 12, who is saying that he's advocating for the people of Liberia? Now people are asking, Central Prison. You were there, you didn't find us Central Prison to make that place better. Go and sleep there too, let's see. Let's see how cool you will be. This is it. This is our country. Let's do the best. Thank you. I don't want to go off the rail here this evening. Thank you very much.
I know. Thank you, sir. We want to take Koto before coming to you because we want to end from the side. So, Koto, are you there? I think Koto has left. So Vandela is false.
Yeah. So Big Brother too. It's not easy to sleep in South Beach. Yeah, never pray to go to South Beach. It's terrible. But it's important maybe these officials like Samuel Tuer, the former Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia, and another person, according to the indictment, let me just read an excerpt of the indictment that these officials subsequently thereafter at various times in September 2023, that is 1 month to the election, the defendants intentionally carry out their diabolical scheme and conspiracy and under the pretense of discharging their duties as officials of the joint security of Liberia unauthorizedly, criminally, willfully, illegally, knowingly, and maliciously with the intent to defraud the government of Liberia, stole and converted to their use and benefit, and did conspire, collude, and made to be transferred from the Central Bank of Liberia to the operational accounts of the FIA, the amount of $1,055,152 Liberian dollars and US $500,000. This is what the indictment said. But
Let me make a point of correction there.
Yeah, I'm reading from Front Page Africa.
That document emanating from the court isn't an indictment. It's a writ of arrest from the lower court.
Okay.
Because the monetary value involved there is above the jurisdiction of that court. Obviously, that case must be transferred to the circuit courts. And remember, the circuit courts are all closed now. So the second Monday in August, they will be opening. I hear a lot of people saying indictment, and indictment has not been drawn. It's a writ of arrest.
Okay. So we hope that the Front Page Africa can do some of those necessary things. We're reading from
check
online.
The facts. Check the facts. Okay.
So whatever the case may be, they stole money. So are we suggesting here that this thing was strategic? The court will not be open until next Monday.
The second Monday.
The second Monday in August?
Yes.
Oh, so they will be there
for the August term of court.
Jesus Christ.
And so either the indictment will be drawn from criminal court A.
Why are you calling Jesus Christ again when you said?
Oh no! I'm just looking at the trauma. No, I've been to prison.
I know.
I know the trauma that is associated. I don't know whether they went there with money, because the first time I went there, they asked me to pay fine. And I remember the pastor, giving me some Holy Ghost slap. You got a man over there. But anyway, but what I want to say is this. This is a warning for some of you, okay, for some of you who have your brothers and sisters in government. This is a perfect opportunity for you tonight, or maybe tomorrow, or after church on Sunday, to have family meeting and remind them the thing JMB is doing. If the table shakes 2029 and JMB is not in power, or maybe JMB government come to power again, they will stay audit. If your hands are caught in the cookie jar, in my chancellor voice, they will carry for safekeeping.
We have to say,
in conclusion, I want the president. This is my appeal to the president of the Republic of Liberia, as he has started to fast track allegations, persecution of corrupt officials. The county development forum in the 15 political subdivisions of our country. We want the president to select at least 5 or 6 counties and indict former officials of government who looted state resources in the counties. Many of them looted state resources. The money that was sent in the county for the development of the counties, the people went and stole the money. Today, I am from Maigri. The Lango Lepe Multi-Purpose Center is uncompleted. The Boca Washington Institute project is uncompleted. We have almost $4.2 million projects that are uncompleted in Maigri. The audits are there. We are begging President Barker, we are begging you. If you really want to take the fight against corruption, take it to the countries.
We take that
so that the citizen will know that this old man is prepared to fight against corruption. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So we take that as your parting comment. Go back to our panelists online. Just your parting comment, if you have a final word for tonight. So can we start with Thomas?
Yeah, sure. For me, I've said enough, and with what others have said, if you add them up, it just sums up the entire conversation to, hey, this is a legal issue. The steps that have been followed are legal. There is nothing illegal about conducting an audit and then trying to follow through with prosecution, after an audit report. These are all steps that are within our own laws, and that is what the government is following. So if you are accusing even the current government of not respecting the law, not following the law, how can you define following the law? Because then I get confused. If we have an audit, and after an audit, we have an anti-corruption commission that follows through with prosecution, and that process is ongoing, but then you're claiming that this government is not following the law. I don't know what kind of law. Can you interpret that law to us? You see, one thing I noticed is that it was just a bunch of rhetoric and accusations and denial without some form of, providing evidences for some of the claims they made, that the, former president made, and without even admitting the shortcoming of the then government. There are shortcomings. We are human. You made mistakes. All right. You may not have been involved in it personally, but your corps of officers were involved. So one of the things you should be telling the Labrimpo is that, let us all remain calm. Let us look at how the process goes. The only thing we are requesting is that the process should be done fairly, but let us all sit and see how the process goes, because this is how it's supposed to be in our country. People should not steal our country money and just walk away free, while the masses are suffering. That is the kind of message as a leader you should be preaching, especially where you are anticipating to come back into the political field, especially in 2029. I'm hearing that he wants to run again, but that's a different debate by itself. But I think that as a leader, you should admit to your shortcomings and then provide even recommendations. I would have expected some recommendations on a couple of issues that he mentioned, but nothing like that. It was just a bunch of allegations and open rhetoric. But again, you never know what his motives are, but it was completely off track because the process that is being followed is legal. So there's no way you can dodge that. It's just a legal process, and the law is the law. So um, I just hope that he could retract some of the statements and try to make some correction. It's not yet late. Even if you can retract it, there's a way you can still go around it and explain better to the Liberian people what you mean by some of the things you said.
Okay. So, Samson,
Yes,
do we have your parting comment?
yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate the show tonight. It allows us to express ourselves. But on a lighter note, perhaps today is Thursday. I mean Wednesday. So maybe by Sunday he will probably go to the church because usually when he gets to the church, that's when he's very being himself, truly himself, and be truthful. So maybe this coming Sunday we'll see. Maybe if he goes to the church, then he will be himself and speak truth to power as well. But thank you for the show tonight. We really appreciate it. Let's do it again tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you. Koto, are you there or you left already? The first time I
Yeah,
actually
she
wasn't
left.
there.
She
Okay.
left. Network
So
issue.
we already taking your parting comments. You have a final word, or that's okay. So yeah, I mean, like Long Liberia, it can only get better. Every time we have an opportunity to do what we do is a political and religious blessing to bless the generations with the information. They say the people perish because of lack of knowledge. Knowledge is a product of information and what you learn. So let's run our promo.
The Department and Monserrato, we present to you.
So as we wind down, let us ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Well, in the voice of His Excellency Joseph Newman Boakai, Senior President of the Republic of Liberia. Whatever we do, think Liberia, love Liberia, and build Liberia. On behalf of our entire team, have a good night from Pinsville.
Way.